right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome here to Sonoma Raceway as we continue with our media availabilities this weekend. We are joined now by Kyle Larson, driver of the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. Kyle, you announced some interesting information this week, or had a great announcement this week with the Kyle Larson Foundation. You guys are auctioning off some race-worn visors from this weekend. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a cool thing, you know, I think there's 26 drivers involved in it. They're going to hand over their race-worn visors after the race, and in connection with Chevrolet and Pristine Auction, we're going to auction those off to benefit the Urban Youth Racing School through my foundation. So pretty neat deal. Fans can check it out. I think it starts today, the bidding, and goes through the 12th. So yeah, hopefully we can raise a lot of money and you'll get to support Anthony and Michelle Martin even more.
Awesome. Really cool program going on.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Kyle. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic. We'll start here in the middle with Jeff and then Bob.
Yeah, how relieved or how you feel to have this whole thing behind you, and what was it like leading up to that announcement that you weren't sure what was going to happen?
Yeah, obviously, I think there's definitely relief on my end, even though I really wasn't paying a ton of attention to the waiver. But at least now knowing that I do personally get to race for a championship feels good. So there was I'm sure a lot that went into it on NASCAR's end, and a lot of discussion, and just wanted to be right. I think we all, probably even them, figured we would get the waiver. I think they were just trying to make sure they had all their ducks in a row first. So I'm appreciative of it for sure, and you look forward to kind of getting through this week, and hopefully just after this press conference I'll have to talk about waivers again. So it feels good, and just thankful that nobody has to deal with the drama going forward.
We'll go to Bob.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. Did you have any conversations with people at NASCAR about the waiver over the last 2 weeks, or was that all done by Hendrick executives?
I personally didn't have any communication with NASCAR, but I know Jeff Gordon and Jeff Andrews and Rick Hendrick were in constant communication with them. So I was appreciative of the support through my race team, and just kind of let them handle it. I didn't really know if there was anything I could say, and I'm pretty bad with words sometimes, so maybe I could have just dug myself a hole a little bit if I was to communicate. But no, again, I'm just thankful that we don't have to deal with it again, and I'm happy to get to race for a championship. So yeah, thanks everybody there.
And speaking of digging yourself in a hole with words, you did say at one point that you didn't care if you got the waiver last week. So I'm curious. I assume you cared, but maybe you were just kind of either over it, or you race, and whatever you're racing for, you're going to race for.
Yeah, sure, I cared, but I don't. The thing that I care the most about is the owner championship, at least in that moment, because that's what pays the bills. So that's kind of where I was coming at it from there. I was a little less stressed out about it than I think what everybody would imagine you to be. So, but I'm just happy that I get to, if I do win a championship now, I can have my name on the record books.
I'm going to go over here to the right, and then we'll go to Mark in the front.
Kevin Cole with Max to Sacramento. And, being now that you're at your track now, and you're driving the car, the different track, the resurfaced track here, how does getting all that out of the way and back to racing, and how does it feel to be back driving your home track, and they've resurfaced it, made it faster? How is that going to work for you?
Yeah, I always love coming here to Sonoma, home track or not. It's just a great area. We really just kind of spend this week as a vacation, and then there happens to be a race on the weekend. So we came out here Wednesday morning, and it's really been the first, Wednesday and Thursday, the first 2 days off I've had, and I don't even know how long. So I was happy to lay by the pool all day Wednesday, do some day drinking. Haven't got to do that in a while. Brought William Byron out here too. Got to go do some wine tasting. Took him on his first wine tours on Thursday. Got to have dinner with David and Mateo Abreu. So it was just a fun couple days, and got to get on track yesterday, and get to see what the new surface felt like. I really didn't it's weird, you're going out there seconds faster, but to me, it doesn't feel any different. Like the way you drive it, even the lap time being faster, it doesn't feel way faster to me. And it still feels kind of like a slower, road course. So, yeah, that was interesting. But, it should hopefully race good.
Good, Mark.
Mark Darrow, PRN. Kyle, now that the whole Indy experience and all this has gone through, and I guess on the scale of the plan goes perfect 10, it turned out to be a 1.5 or a 2. But how do you feel about the whole thing now with the waivers in place and you still get to run for the championship? Just what do you think overall of the whole experience?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've said it all along. I really enjoyed the experience, and I wish it would have panned out differently with the weather and really could have, showcased Kyle Larson and doing the double. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But also I think reflecting on it, like I'm very fortunate to get to be one of just a handful of drivers to have done it and attempted it. Getting to race on 2 big platforms like that is awesome. Getting to race Indy 500 and then getting to race, a cup car, for a living, really. I'm pretty fortunate to be one of those guys. So, I mean, America's in a great spot for motorsports and just, fortunate, but wish it would have just gone according to plan. Hopefully there'll be another year. I would love to do it because I really don't feel like I got to do it. We'll see. So, hopefully I can.
My other question is, by not being able to race at Charlotte, you gave up the regular season point lead. You haven't fallen that far behind, but how do you feel now about, instead of having the lead, now that you're going to have to try to scramble your way back to get those 15 bonus points?
Yeah, I mean, I think really, just keep doing what we've been doing. I think not overreacting on that, is important. Because if we just keep doing what we've been doing, well, in my mind, we can get the point lead back. We're not that far out of it. We might even still be leading it, I think, in the owner's deal. So, I ultimately would love to win that regular season championship just because of the 15 bonus points. But, I think, like I said, just don't overreact, keep executing, which I feel like we've done a really, really good job of executing every race this week, besides maybe one race. So that's not an area where I feel like I'm very good at throughout a season. So I've been proud of that. Just got to keep it up, and we can, I think, get the lead back.
We have a couple of questions in the back there.
Jonathan Howard with On3. Kyle, since last year with Shane Van Gisbergen coming over, and now there's more supercars talent and all the things that the next gen car does on road courses, how much more difficult is it for you to go out and win, or a Chase Elliott to go out and win like they used to in the previous car, now with the new car and the talent that's showing up every week?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I think as competitors, we all want to compete with the best. So I really look forward to the opportunity when those guys have been able to come over, and especially with Shane, and I mean how he smoked us at Chicago last year. I get excited now, when you have other guys come in and get to race with us, and we can kind of not only see how we compare against them, but it's an opportunity for us to all get better and look at different areas on how we can improve our skill set. So I was just talking to Will Brown before I came in here, and just listening to him and how he talks about what a race weekend looks like over there, and kind of how they strategize a weekend is pretty interesting compared to what we are here. So just communicating with him, I learned a lot. So those guys have more experience, doing this, even though it's, their first races in a cup car. Like, they're still more experienced than us. So you can learn from that experience and become better. I think it's good.
We'll see you in the back for another question.
Hey, Kyle. Adam Carabine, RacingRefresh.com. Just curious about the new surface and whether you think tire management is going to play as big a role now, with it just not being as tough on tires.
Well, I think, yes. I think there's still always tire management. Maybe before it was more managing the the heat and wear, now we're probably just more, we're doing it the same way. We're probably just, you're not wearing the tire, you're just managing the heat. So to me, I don't foresee the a stint to look much different in how you approach your driving technique. I think you're still going to try to slip the tire as little as possible. So I don't, it was tough to pass before, the last couple years with the next gen car. I think it'll be just as tough now. I really don't feel like the racing's going to look any different than it did before. So I don't know. I think repaves don't, we're less sad, or at least I'm less sad about a repave at a road course than I would be an oval, just because road courses are already pretty tough to pass.
Steven Stump, Fronters.com. Kyle, with the new wall in turn 11, did approaching that corner feel any different?
It's a little harder to kind of see around the corner, but I thought it might be worse than what it was once I got out there. So I've been pretty cautious with it, because it's kind of like in a blind spot a little bit, with the way the body and roof and all that is, and where you look out the windshield when you're turning sharp like that. But we'll. It's fine. It's no different. I mean, before you're trying not to hit tires, and now try not to hit a wall, and the tires will probably swallow you up maybe more than grazing the wall would.
And then, unlike last year, this year we'll have the stage costs back at Sonoma. How does that kind of change the strategy? Also, just given how without the stage cautions, it ended up being some very long runs.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the strategy piece yet. I haven't talked to Cliff or the engineers about that, but I'm imagining if it's like a typical road course, you flip the stages, and if you qualify well and are running up front, you can flip the stages and still get pretty good stage points. Maybe not the stage win, but you can still get good points throughout the day. So it puts a lot of emphasis on qualifying as always. Hopefully we have a good day today.
Hey, Kyle, back again. As much dirt racing as you race, and your variety of the way those races are as far as qualifying and inverting, and I even seen one the other night where you spin the wheel to pick your starting point. Do you think that'll ever make it to NASCAR? That type of any kind of different changes in the formatting of it?
I don't know. I mean, we try stuff in the All-Star race. I think that's a good new race to try some things, but I don't know. I think simple's still the best, and qualify on the pole, start on the pole.
Do we have any final questions? We'll go back to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. I know you said you didn't have any problem with him, but I'm just curious, did you talk or text with Kyle Busch in the last week?
No, I hadn't talked to him. But again, like on my end, I have no hard feelings. I don't know if he's still mad at me or whatever, but I think I always do a really good job of looking back at accidents that I get in, and whether it be I caused it or I didn't cause it, I still try to pinpoint what kind of fault I had in it. And I look at that one, if I didn't barely touch his quarter panel to get to a side draft, he wouldn't have gotten upset and started running into me down the straightaway and then crowd me into one. I wasn't going into one to race him and have a dick measuring contest. I was just, trying to make it into the corner. And if I didn't touch his quarter, we would have just raced fine through one. So, I look at it as probably more my fault there. But into one, I know I'm the guy that spun, but I don't really feel like that part was at all my fault. But it's just racing, and he got frustrated, and I don't know. I'm sure he's not too frustrated with me right now.
Any final questions for Kyle? All right, thanks, Kyle. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.